We're about to be whisked away in a wondrous whirlwind of wizardry in this Golden Thumb edition of Little Big Thumbs. Welcome to Little Big Thumbs, a channel that's all about finding great games that are equally fun with little players and big players. And every now and then a game comes along that is so perfectly amazing with or without children at the table that we need to recognize that game with the Golden Thumb Award. And today we are so pleased to be adding Wandering Towers to this special collection of tremendous tabletop treats. Wandering Towers is published in North America by Capstone Games, crafted by the legendary design duo of Michael Kiesling and Wolfgang Kramer. And if two icons weren't enough, they are joined in this game by Michael Menzel, the illustrator behind classics such as Stone Age, Zooloretto, and Thurn and Taxis. Every time a game wins the Golden Thumb Award, we like to host a Golden Thumb giveaway to get a copy of that game into the hands of one member of our Little Big Thumbs community. And if you want to learn how to enter this contest, make sure to stick around for the entire video. We'll be dropping some magical keywords throughout the whole review, and at the end of the video, we'll show you how to use those words to enter the giveaway. So let's grab our spell bottles and skills of sorcery as we learn how to play Wandering Towers. Now, before we get rolling here, I do want to disclose that Capstone Games is partnered with my employer, Off Duty Ninja. While I did purchase my copy of Wandering Towers from my local shop, the Boardroom Game Cafe, it's important to mention that professional relationship before we get started. The core structure of Wandering Towers is mechanically simple, but as you'll see in a moment, it is filled with all sorts of interesting and meaningful decisions. Each player has 3 cards in hand, and each turn will be playing 2 of those 3 cards before drawing back up to a full hand of 3. And those cards offer us just 2 ways to interact with the playing space of the game. We'll either be moving one of our wizards or moving one of the towers. Some cards have just one or the other, but if both options appear on a card, we will need to choose just one action to take. In either case, we need to use the full value listed on the card, or in some cases, the full value of a die roll. We're always moving in a clockwise direction, with each player moving their own wizards to hop along board spaces whether or not there's a tower present. If a wizard happens to land on a space where the Raven's Keep School is located, that wizard will disappear into the school, and then the school itself magically zooms to the next empty space containing a visible school emblem. Aside from moving our wizards, we also have these stunning stackable towers. Players can move any tower whether or not we have a wizard present on that tower. Just be aware that a tower can never land on the space occupied by Raven's Keep. Our ultimate goal, the way we win the game, is by achieving 2 objectives. First, we need to get all of our wizards to Raven's Keep by moving our wizards by exact count. But that alone won't secure the victory. We also need to fill all of our potion bottles. Be the first to accomplish both of these tasks, and you will be the winner of a game of Wandering Towers. Now, filling these potion flasks is one of the most interesting, and sometimes frustrating, parts of the game. When we move towers around the playing area, if it lands on a space that has wizards visible on top, they will be trapped underneath the arriving tower. And for each trapped wizard, the active player fills one of their bottles with a magical elixir. Fortunately, those wizards are not trapped for the rest of the game, but we will have to remember where those hidden wizards are stuck so that we can free them up to continue on with our quest. And those potions, they're not just for collecting as a partial victory condition, they can also be spent before, after, or even in the middle of a player's turn to cast spells to help them along. The game includes 8 different spells, but with younger players, we're going to want to at least start by using just 1 or 2 of those spells. Now, all of this might sound like a lot of information for a younger player to absorb, but just remember to focus on the core actions of the game, at least to start. We're just playing 2 cards and doing what they say, either moving a wizard or a tower. And if your younger players are not wrapping their heads around the spells and potion bottles, then just leave them out of the game. And focus on getting all of our wizards into Raven's Keep as the sole endgame condition. For how straightforward the core game structure is, Wandering Towers offers some simple ways to throttle the complexity of the game either forwards or backwards, which is why we're here talking about it as the latest Golden Thumb winner. In our next segment, I'm going to break down the 3 elements that make this game sparkle, and after that, I'll show you how to use those magical keywords to enter our Golden Thumb giveaway. We'll be back in just a moment. Our first unique element of Wandering Towers is going to be the toy factor. For a game that's made up entirely of cardboard and wood, that's a pretty impressive feat. The stacking of towers probably could have been emulated with something less eye-popping, but it really is what grabs our attention and reminds my kids that, oh yeah, this game is going to be fun. The fact that it's theoretically possible to have every single tower stacked in a single massive monolith is just an amazing inclusion. It's not going to happen often, but just knowing that this ridiculous option is there is pretty wonderful, with a youthful spirit that doesn't specifically feel like it's a game for kids. As I mentioned earlier, the complexity of Wandering Towers really can be throttled forwards or backwards. And that's by choosing the number and combination of spells in the game. Having a mechanism that offers so much control over the flexibility of the game is just delightful, and it really adds so much charm to the overall experience. For younger players, the recommended setup is including 1 spell for moving wizards and 1 for moving towers. But with each new spell that we add into the game, the more control we all have to make really snazzy moves happen. And if the 8 spells included in the game aren't enough for you, there are a handful of fun promo spells that can be found to increase the variety even further. And our final unique that we want to highlight here is that wizard trapping mechanism. This is the hook that really turns Wandering Towers into a highly interactive affair and elevates the entire game into something that's truly special. When I first introduced Wandering Towers to my kids, I half expected this to be the thing that was going to create some sour feelings at the table. And while there are some real moments of frustration, both of my girls are surprisingly open-minded about seeing their wizards get buried under layers of tower. The fact that it's not purely a malicious action, that there's a tangible benefit to covering other wizards, and that you can even choose to cover your own wizards in order to fill your potion bottles, that just makes for a really vibrant aspect of the game. And it forces everyone to stay focused on what's happening on the table, because if you're not paying attention, you can easily lose track of where your wizards might be hiding. Now, it wouldn't be a proper board game review if we didn't mention at least one aspect that we think could have been done differently. So here's our one little nitpick for Wandering Towers. And it's going to be the options for player colors. If we're playing with 2 players, our only options are yellow and blue. And if you want to play as purple or orange, that can only happen if we're playing with 5 or 6 players. I'm sure it cut down on production costs to have fewer wooden pieces in the box, and ultimately I know that leads to a lower price point for consumers, which is a good thing. But as a lover of all things orange and my kids being purple people, I do wish I could cast an incantation of my own to make sure that those colors were available at any player count. But any teeny tiny gripes aside, Wandering Towers is a game that's exceedingly easy to learn, and it's just so darn quick to play. Wizards as young as 6 or 7 will be able to wrap their heads around these rules, especially if we're careful about which spells are included. This game is the absolute epitome of the Golden Thumb Award, and I would gladly play it with any combination of kids or adults. Heck, I would even play with the included solo mode, which we didn't even talk about. We're thrilled to be adding this game to our illustrious collection of Golden Thumb Award winners, and to be running this Golden Thumb giveaway. Speaking of which, let's lay the ground rules for entering our Golden Thumb giveaway and possibly having a chance to win your own copy of Wandering Towers. First of all, you will need to be subscribed to the LittleBigThumbs YouTube channel. And secondly, you will need to leave a comment on this video telling us the name of a spell that you have come up with on your own, as well as what that spell does. Either in the name of the spell or in the execution, make sure to use one of the keywords that we showed on screen earlier in this video. If you'd like a bonus entry to this giveaway, you can also share the name of your spell in the Family Tabletop Community Discord server, which you can find in the description of this video. In a future video, my kids will put all of the valid entries into a jar and randomly determine a winner. Thanks so much to Capstone Games for supporting the giveaway, and thank all of you for watching all the way to the end. We'll be back again soon, and until then, whether you've got little players or big players, make sure that you keep playing games that make your thumbs go way up. Bye for now.